Hey everyone, I'm Jason Galco. Welcome back to A Ship Called Relation. Coming up, we're going to be talking about women who are over 30, why they're single, and where they can find love. Plus, later in the show, I'll have answers to your questions that you write into me, and a brand new Sink or Swim. It's all coming up right now on A Ship Called Relation. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's A Ship Called Relation. It's Wednesday, April 28th. Great to have you all joining us today. So, we have a lot to talk about today. We have special guest Fran Greene, who is the author of the Flirting Bible. She is back today, and she's going to help me discuss women who are over 30, where to find love, how to find love, and how to handle those potentials, the little flirting techniques we're going to get into. She's in the studio with me today. We'll see her a little bit later. But right now, it is time for some RHT, Relationship Hot Topics. Here we go. Okay. How many of you read Cosmo? I happen to love that magazine. You know when you're on the grocery line and you see it, and you see something that catches your eye, you pick it up, and then you end up buying it, of course. This week in Cosmo, they were talking about the favorite songs to make love to. And would you believe that women prefer to make love to Nick Jonas's Jealous song? Something about the beat. I don't know what it is. And I can kind of, now you're playing it in your head, right? You're trying to see like what the beat is. I happen to love Toni Braxton's You're Making Me High. That's what's playing in my background when I'm making love. But also, you know what I love too is Drake's song, Just Hold On, We're Going Home. You all heard that song? We have a little studio audience with us today, so I'm going to be talking to you guys too. Something about those beats, I wonder if iTunes has like a little instrumental version of that. We'll have to check that out. But I thought that was funny because it's like, you know, you're hearing a song about jealous and you're making love to it. I don't get the connection, but I understand the beat thing. So for me, Toni Braxton, it's all about the lyrics in that song, right? Number 2 thing on the list for today, we have a picture of this adorable little couple. Recently in ABC News, and named by World Book of Records, there's this adorable little old couple. We have their photo here. He's 102, she's 91, and they just got engaged. How adorable is that, right? And I chose that story because it's like, we're talking about these women today that are over 30, and they want to find love, and they're like, I think I'm just too old to find love. And that's not true. That's so not the case at all. So I wanted to bring them up because you're never too old to fall in love. And the funny part is they did the math on these two. Together, they're 194 years old. And they have a June wedding planned. How cute is that? So traditional. Now, they both have children also. I'm just going to assume that it's from a previous marriage or a previous relationship because they've been together 27 years. So if you do the math, 27 years ago, I don't think they could be having children. So their kids put the father up to it, the husband, soon to be, okay, and a June wedding is planned. So they are actually the world's oldest newlyweds. That is so great. Congrats to both of them. In case you haven't noticed also, the stocky, sexy football player type guys are slowly becoming the new Calvin Klein sexy underwear models. Okay? I'm using that as sort of like a comparison because you look at those Calvin Klein models and you go, damn. Well, you know what? The stocky football player type guys are getting the same reaction from women and gay men as well. I should know, I have one, and I love it. Let me tell you what women are saying about sexy, stocky built guys. Here we go. Because it's not all about them. They're not spending time in the gym for hours building pecs. They're not looking in the mirror at themselves, admiring their six-pack. They're spending more time with you. And not only that, when you go out to dinner, they're not judging you if you're ordering dessert. That's what I love. So stocky guys are kind of like becoming like the new sexy six-pack of guys, right? And this is my favorite, and I have a stocky guy, which I love. This is what I love. No matter where you rest your head on him, you're not pinching a nerve on some kind of rib cage or shoulder blade or whatever because there's so much padding on them, it's like a big comfy pillow. So they make the best cuddle buddies, right? Am I wrong, ladies in the audience? No, right? That is relationship hot topics for now. So we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, Fran Greene is going to be on set. We're going to be answering your questions and giving you tips on looking for love. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Today we are talking about women who are over 30 that are trying to find love, what the obstacles are, where can they find love, and how to approach those potentials when they see someone that they're interested. Well, joining me today is a very dear friend of mine. She's back, Miss Fran Greene, everybody.
Hi there.
Great to see you.
Oh, it's great to see you too.
It has been so long.
I know. Where have you been?
I've been here. Where have you been?
I've been looking for you.
Well, you found me, love.
Yes.
We have a lot to talk about today. First of all, I want to introduce your book, The Flirting Bible, which is written by Fran. I've actually read it. I'm rereading it because there are really great techniques in here for flirting. And I have to admit, sometimes I steal some of your techniques, totally
Hey,
crediting you.
Listen.
And put it out there on social media for my ladies.
And isn't that the best compliment?
It is.
As a matter of fact, when I came in today, this woman here saw my outfit and she said, "Would you mind if I got it also?" I said, "It is really the best compliment."
Mm-hmm.
So what have
Fabulous.
you been up to?
I'm doing the show now. It's a little bit of a reinvention here on a ship called Relation.
It's
I love it.
fabulous.
I love it.
So we want to talk about those 30-year-old women
Yes.
who think that their life is over.
The most common question that I get
Yes.
from women, they're over 30 or they're over 40, and they're like, how do I find love? Where do I go? What do I do? And a lot of the women that follow me on social media, they live in very small towns, which I think makes it 20 times harder. What do you suggest?
Small towns like
Maybe
population-
250. Bedrock.
Oh my God, I've been there. It's a great place. That's in Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was referring to the Flintstones, but that too.
Okay. I'm too young for the Flintstones. I don't remember that. I think for everybody, whether you're living in a small town or you're living in a big city, it's about breaking out of your comfort zone. So that means doing things that perhaps you ordinarily would not do, never turning down any social invitation, because you really never know who's going to be there.
Right.
And what I do with my own clients who are looking for love is I encourage them to be their own dating service. And they say to me be my own dating service. And I ask people to come up with a list of 20 to 30, not necessarily names of people, but relationships of people they come in contact with their life, whether it's the librarian or the gas station attendant or their accountant or their travel agent or somebody at the gym, and make a list of those people. And you're going to have to let those people know that you are in the dating market. You can't keep it a Fort Knox secret.
Right.
Some people are so embarrassed. I'm 30 and I'm not married, or I don't have a boyfriend, or I don't have a girlfriend.
Do you think it's different in today's world as opposed to years ago? Like traditionally, by the time you were like 25, you were married, you had children, you had a family. Those were like the old days. There's really no cutoff now when looking for love. I mean, one of the women that are in the stories that I want to talk about, she's 45, she's from a very small place in North Carolina, and she just feels like she doesn't know how to get out of her comfort zone. She's not divorced, but her husband passed away. And she feels like she's too old, she's been out of the scene for too long, but she, still has a lot of years ahead of her.
It really doesn't matter if you're 30 or you're 70. I think the principles are the same. So we're going to get back to being your own dating service, and I'm a proponent of online dating. I really believe it's efficient, it's effective, and it's a way for someone from a small town to have the entire globe as their possible dating pool. I think you need a thick skin.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know about safety precautions, and you need to have someone take some really good photos of you. One of the things that I've learned in my practice working with people developing online profiles is that if you don't have a picture that maximizes how you look, you are not going to get people to be interested in you.
Absolutely. A picture says 1,000 words, right?
And, I'll tell you, sometimes some of us have to take 100 pictures before we feel comfortable, and you want someone to be objective. There are also some services that do that, but I think that with today's digital cameras and your own iPhones, you can do so many things. What I like so much about online dating is I can think about who I am, what I want, and I put it out there.
Right.
And I also have a rule of 3 with dating, and that is, especially with what I call a mystery date, And a mystery date is meeting someone through an online dating site. I want to have my first date short and sweet. I had a client who met someone on an online dating site, or before she met him. She had a 3-hour conversation with him. She already picked out the dishes. You get my
Talk
drift?
about
Get my
moving
drift?
quick.
All right. And then when she met him, she was totally disappointed. So, I know I'm jumping around. I want to get back to the online dating thing.
Okay.
1 or 2 emails, a phone conversation, and a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You're not developing a lifelong online buddy.
Right.
You don't need it. It's counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say, oh, I really need to get to know them through multiple emails. If I'm looking for a date or a possible relationship, I want to maximize my time and my opportunities. So I want to move through that quickly. And the reason why I want to have a short date, whether it's lunch, dinner, a drink, coffee, it's I want to get the feel for who this person is.
Absolutely.
I also had a client who met someone through an online dating site, and she said to the guy, if things go well, no, we'll meet for drinks, and then he said, if things go well, we'll have dinner. She said, great. You know what happened?
What happened?
He didn't want to have dinner with her. So she felt totally rejected. You don't want to have a marathon date. You have the rest of your life to do that.
Absolutely.
So, here's my rule of 3. I meet you on an online dating site. We have our first mystery date.
Mm-hmm.
You call me. Things are pretty good. We have our second date. And I'm a little unsure. The first date, you're a nervous wreck.
Oh,
The
absolutely. It's like an audition.
Worse than an audition because you're auditioning your heart.
Right.
And when it comes to matters of the heart, it's so complicated.
I think that's really the first and hardest step, is just getting over that one that's an obstacle, getting over that one obstacle, because you're opening yourself up, you're very vulnerable, you're nervous. I mean, that's what I always tell, my viewers, is that if you are going to meet somebody online, meet mutually. Don't have him pick you up.
Oh.
Or totally, it actually happened to somebody that I knew. They met at a restaurant for dinner, and the date was over in 20 minutes. Luckily, because it went that bad, she had driven herself, so she was able to just pick up and leave.
By the way, you should always drive yourself or take
Mm-hmm.
public transportation. Never have a potential date pick you up at your home or where you work.
Absolutely.
This is a stranger.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that this person is a stranger. Maybe another show we can do on internet dating. But
Mhm.
let's talk about some other things.
Yes.
So,
So where are some great places you suggest meeting for a date, let's say?
to meet for a date,
Mhm.
a place, a mystery date, or just a date where we've met and now you're asking me out.
A
Which
date
one?
where we've met and you're asking me out now.
Okay. I think a place that you absolutely can talk, that is not overly crowded and not overly expensive. I think dating now is really expensive. Going
Yeah.
to a movie and going out to dinner can cost you.
For 2 people,
Yes.
at least.
It's insane. And don't be afraid to use coupons or Groupons.
No, you know what I think is great for a date,
Yes.
because now we're coming into summer now.
Yes.
I'm very traditional. I love like the walks along the beach or the harbor, or grab a drink at a bar someplace nearby the water. I mean, there's great places here on Long Island to
Oh,
go to and do that.
Absolutely. And you know what? You get your local newspaper and
Mhm.
you become almost a vacationer where you live. Take a long drive somewhere where you've never been before.
Right.
And experiment something.
Mhm.
Whether it's going to the beach or going to a park. I love when it's a flea market or a outdoor garden show, something where you have an opportunity to talk and be with the person. And also it's nice when you can be a little physical.
Yes.
You
A
know,
little
whether-
hand holding, not too much PDA. We did a show one time on PDA and public affection, public displays of affection. And
Thank
how much
you.
is too much? In your eyes, what do you think is too much as an expert?
For me, the more the better.
I'm the
That's-
same exact
But that's
way.
just me. Okay. My husband will say no PDA. And I think that whether it's hand holding,
Mhm.
putting your arm around someone.
I think that's acceptable.
Putting your hand on the back of someone, just where you feel connected to that
Yeah.
person. And you know something? An occasional kiss I don't think that's too
No,
bad either.
we don't want to see anybody
But we
tongue
don't-
wrestling, as they say.
And we don't want those, like,
the
big,
get a room motions, you know what I mean?
those gyrations.
Mhm.
I can't help but stare, but I don't know about you. What do? Do you stare or look away?
It's for me, I kind of look away because I just think it's very awkward. You know, I mean, those are things that you do behind the closed doors of your own home. And as we say, hand holding is great. Putting your arm around your date is great. A kiss, peck on the cheek,
Yes.
perfect.
What about a pinch on the tush? Is that okay?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with
That's
that.
that's what I thought. The most important thing about a date is to have fun,
hmm
and it's also nice that if I'm I'm an avid fisher person, and you've never gone fishing, and then we go fishing together, it's such a great experience.
It is.
Doing something.
I think anything's a great experience when you have that connection with somebody. That's what it's all about.
But also, it's a way for me to do things that maybe I would never have done before.
Right. So that's where you're coming out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
See, start connecting
Yes.
the dots now.
And I think blind dates are great. There's a different way where you can approach people.
See, I don't know, I'm on the fence about blind dates.
Oh, God, first of all, you can't rule out any opportunity or any way, because you never know where you're going to meet the person of your dreams.
Mhm.
There are singles vacations, there are singles weekends, there are singles events. On Long Island, on Newsday every Tuesday, there's a list of single events. And, you probably roll your eyes and say, oh, my God, give it a shot.
But I think those are great though for people that
Yes.
aren't into the online dating. Like some people are very skeptical of the online dating. I'm actually very much for it because it's like we were talking about earlier. Your picture is there. A picture says 1,000 words. You can put your best photo. You get to tell your story. And then you pick and choose people that kind of fit into what you're looking for. And you have more choices, I feel. But I think singles events are great too. I always suggest those to people because, like you said, you never know where you're going to meet the love of your life. And now that you're joining these groups, like you're sharing something in common.
And there's so many meetup groups.
Yes.
I just did something last night in New York City, a meetup group for people who are separated and divorced. They do all sorts of activities. And another thing is sometimes you just have to do these things by yourself.
Yeah.
It's nicer to do it with a buddy, and flying solo can be really hard. But if you are flying solo, this is what you need to do. You need to change your behavior from the role of being a guest to that of being a host. And what I mean by that is, think of what you do if somebody comes to your home or you're having a party. You want to make them feel comfortable. You want to do things, whether it's offering them something to drink or a place to sit, or turning the heat up or down. And when you go to one of these events, if you change the way you think to being the host and not the guest, it gives you something to do.
Right.
And you don't want to go sit in the corner and just sit like this.
It's actually very unattractive to those of you that are standing around, really.
And, you talked about Cosmo.
Mm-hmm. I love Cosmo.
I just knew you did. That's why we love each other. We love the same things.
We have a connection.
Yes, we do. Cosmo did a study, and they took 8 drop-dead gorgeous women, and they put them at a singles bar, and they just had them sit like this, or stand like this.
And not one person had gone up to them.
I'm not done with the story yet. But you're close, yes. And then they took 8 attractive women, and those women smiled. They made eye contact. They sort of, kept time with the music. And they measured the amount of male attention these women got. You want to guess how many more times attention they got?
At least 95% more.
8 times more attention. So, what's the moral of that study? It's not about how attractive you are, it's about how
confident you are. 'Cause
and
it's
how
all about confidence.
and how approachable you are.
Right.
You can't be a schlub.
Absolutely.
I mean, you cannot look like a mess.
Agreed.
Have you ever gone to an event, and if you go with a friend, there's always a guy or a gal that you say, oh my God, can you believe it? I mean, just disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And they just need to clean up their act a little, to wear clothes that maybe fit them instead of like a paper bag look.
It's true, though. It's all about, I've always said it's always about first impressions. You only get one. You have to make it good.
And how was my first impression on you?
Your first impression is great.
Oh, I love. Also,
I mean, you're back, right?
Yeah. And sometimes when you fish for a compliment, just as I did, when you give it back to the other person, it just makes this, I know there's a French word, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
You probably know.
I don't.
You don't. It's just where you're making the other person feel good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things that we didn't talk about is what if you don't like the person?
Right.
Don't prolong it. There's nothing wrong with saying.
I think that happens a lot with women also because they feel guilty, I feel like. And it's like, or they feel like, and I've gotten this too from viewers, they feel like, well, if I don't settle for this, I'm not going to have better.
Oh, no, that's not even what I'm talking about.
No,
we're
but
having
we've
a
gotten
date.
that.
Yes. That's a whole nother show. You know, we meet, and like, you're definitely not the guy for me, so I just don't return your phone calls. It's so much better to say, you know, Jason, I had a good time, but I just don't think it's gonna go anywhere.
Be brave enough to tell them.
It's about being brave enough.
Yeah.
Because you know something, the old expression, do unto others as you want done to yourself.
Absolutely.
And if you've ever had a broken heart, and I guess most of us have, you know how you want to be treated.
Absolutely. Hi there, we are back. Before we close, Fran Greene is still joining me here. It's so great to see you again.
Here.
We have some questions from our viewers that they would like answered. Would you like to answer them with me?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you know what? We're going to play Sink or Swim too. So these are for you, and you get to decide fate here with me.
I guess that's the swim.
That's the swim and that's the sink.
Okay.
You're going to sink the ship or you're going to let it swim. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, this is from Candace. Candace writes, what is the best way to approach my ex when you feel they are the one who got away? It's been 4 years, but I truly believe the mistakes made before wouldn't happen because there has been more than enough time to figure out what the problem was and how to heal. Plus, it's given us both time to grow as individuals. How should I bring up the topic of possibly trying again, or is 4 years way too long apart and I should just give up and try something new? I think she should go for it. I think everything is worth a shot. And this day and age with social media and texting, you have so many ways of communication to reach out and say, hey, what's going on? Let's meet up. Let's talk about things. Is it possible that we could rekindle? He's either going to say yes or no. But I always tell people, be prepared for the no, because you want to use that as closure and move on.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? Let's vote. Swim. We're going to let that one swim. All right. Good luck to Candace. Our next one. It's from Amanda. She writes, I had a boyfriend. We've been together 4 years. He's the father of my 2-year-old son, and he just drives me nuts. Don't they all? He can't keep a job. He's an alcoholic, and he tends to be verbally abusive at times, and he's also manipulative. He's 36 years old. My family can't stand him because of things that they've seen him do. I just don't know what to do. I'm not in love with him, but I also don't want to see him hurting. Let you take that one, Fran. What do you think? Dump
Just
him.
get rid of him. I
Yeah.
mean, there was not one positive thing that she said about this guy.
No. But I think with the
don't
tricky...
don't waste your energy and don't waste your time.
Yeah. I think the one thing that's linking them together is they do have a child together. So I would kind of deliver him an ultimatum here. Listen, you have a child with me. You want to set an example for your son. Really. If you can't do that, then...
Or, she needs to tell him that he needs to go to Al.
AA.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
AA
Counseling.
thing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it can work, but, if you don't want to be with him, there's things that he needs to do because he's a father. He needs to be setting an example. So, all right, that is from Amanda. Thank you. Last but not least, I need advice about relationships. Currently, I'm single, and the reason is because my ex ruined my everything. I have had an opportunity to meet lots of people, but I don't see them for any more than a one-night stand. However, I'm open to a new relationship, but I'm just afraid of being hurt. My suggestion, we've had this plenty of times here, I think that they just need to leave the past in the past and start fresh.
And what's this with everybody's a one-night stand?
Yeah.
What's that all about? Doesn't that say that you're not really interested in a relationship? I mean, I think that is probably covering up some of her fears.
Mm-hmm.
And my advice to her is no one-night stands.
Yeah. I think also it has
Dinner
a lot
and
to
a
do
movie.
with, yeah. I mean, a lot of times with these stories with people, I feel like it's a lack of self-confidence as well. Like, they're having these one-night stands because they're trying to get the love from everybody else that they're not loving themselves. Do you agree?
Well, first of all, I think it's very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's self-destructive. And I think it's a pattern that absolutely will prevent her from meeting someone that she wants to move forward with.
Man.
So I really think she needs to examine what it is that she's doing and how that's really interfering with her finding someone.
Right.
She needs, she needs to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Good luck on that. Okay, last but not least, Libby writes, I'm a married mother with 2 boys. My husband is very demeaning and condescending. I received a layoff in October 2012. I was making a great salary. When I wasn't working, he threatened to put my belongings on the porch, plus remind me that my boys were hungry. And now that I'm just starting to get back into the job scene, he still thinks of me as worthless. I'm struggling. I feel as though I'm treading upstream and I can't catch a break. Looking forward to hearing from you, signed Libby. I don't think any real man would ever degrade his woman, no matter how bad the hardship is.
This is about a very controlling man who, no matter what she does, what she makes, what she looks like, what she does, it sounds like he's rather abusive. She needs to take care of herself
And her children.
And her children. And that's a hard one. She might want to join a group for women who have abusive husbands and get some strength.
Absolutely. So, excellent advice. Fran,
Yeah.
it was so great to see you. We do have to go, but I do want to remind everybody, pick up the Flirting Bible, because once you meet that potential lover, you want to know exactly how to flirt. And flirting just isn't for the singles. You can flirt in your relationships, too. I think it's very sexy still.
Absolutely. And
Right?
it's a great way
Show
to
them how you shake my hand. This is great.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hey, Jason, nice to meet you.
Love that. Love that soothe. Fran?
Until next
mwah.
time. Mwah.
Yes,
Love you.
I love you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming
And
back.
Thank you.
I'm Jason Galka. Thanks for joining us. Send me your questions anytime, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.